Welcome to the Take Action Podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Simmons, here to help you take massive action to being your best self. Many people don't believe in their own potential and don't always have the courage to change their situation. Join me and other guests as we give you practical ways to releasing your potential so that you can be your best self. Now let's stop playing and take action. What's up, y'all? It is Nicole here. I'm so excited for this episode today. I have an amazing guest with me, Caroline Harbin. She is an entrepreneur. She's a rock star young woman who is really impacting the lives of others. And she operates in the marketing and branding space and is really helping businesses really tell their story in a heart connection type of way. And I thought she would be a great guest to come on as we're talking about curiosity. We're talking about the power of curiosity and how that helps us to be free in our lives. So y'all help me welcome Caroline to the Take Action Podcast show. Hello, Caroline.
Nicole, thanks so much for having me here. I'm stoked to be here.
I'm so glad to have you. I love what you stand for and just who you are as a person. And I thought that when you started talking with me about just being curious and then the leap that you took in your life and how curiosity kind of brought you down that path to be able to discover your passions, I was like, yes, this is the perfect conversation for us to have on a podcast, right?
Yes. It was just such an instant connection. I feel like our hearts are really aligned. And I love this theme of freedom and curiosity. Yeah, I'm so excited to dive into this.
Yeah, so let's get going. First, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I worked in the risk management space following my college career. And I enjoyed it, but I knew that wasn't what I was being called to do. I knew it wasn't my purpose, but it was the safe option. It was the right option and it looked really good on paper. But ultimately, when you know that it's not what you're called to do, there's just that misalignment with the heart. So I spent a lot of time, I thought, I prayed, and I really took time to do some soul searching, if you will, to dive into what is my purpose, what was I created to do, and what is it that will make my heart come alive. So through that process, I found that I thrive when I'm able to do two things. One is kind of engage in this entrepreneurial pursuit, the spirit that I've had for all of my life. But two, and this is really what's most important, is that I thrive when the people around me thrive. And I thrive when I get to support others in their vision, in their dreams, and in their goals. So that is really where the heart of core marketing was born, was that I get to build this business on the foundation of building other businesses, building people, building their success. And so that's what I have the opportunity to pursue now.
That's wonderful. I love that. And it takes a lot of courage, right? To leave the comfort of a career where maybe you have some stability and, some stake in the game, you feel like you know what the next day is going to look like. And then to step on your own, to follow what's really in your heart, I think is very admirable. And there's so many women across the world that are doing it, but I think it's more of us need to tell that story, right? To tell our story of what that looks like and what that means for us, right? And taking action to do it.
Yes, exactly. I think it starts with curiosity. And then, like you said, it's taking the action to do it. I think some of the factors that go into supporting that boldness, the boldness to be brave, to be curious, and to say, wait, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing day in and day out? Or is there something greater that I'm called to do? And I think one of the factors that really supported me in that transition was the incredible group of women around me. These women that stood by me and reminded me of truth and reminded me of God's plan for my life and reminded me of the boldness that would be needed to step out in faith. And so I think that's a huge factor in that journey.
Yeah, for sure, right? It's a combination of things that you brought up, is having that tribe of women who can speak into the core of who you are, right? Core, you got that?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Right, the core of who you are, but also being able to say, hey, there's a destiny, there's a plan for you that we see. You may not see it all, but I think it's important that we do have people that can speak into our lives that might see a little bit more, right? And then you mentioned about being curious. So let's talk about that. How, for you, Caroline, how would you say that curiosity played a role with even pursuing the desires that you knew were in your heart that were not necessarily aligned with where you were anymore in your career?
Great question. I feel like for me, what really sparked that curiosity was actually the thought that curiosity is opposite fear.
Mm.
Curiosity is opposite fear. And the question presented itself to me in such a way that was like, hey, if failure wasn't an option, if fear was off the table, if the what if didn't exist, what is it that you would do? And really, what that question asks us is, if fear wasn't playing a part here, what is it that you would step in to do? And so I really see curiosity as the antidote to fear. It's the opposite of fear. It was really cool. So I was able to go, wow, okay, if fear's not an option, if that's off the table, which in reality, gosh, we can't live in fear. That's not healthy. That's holding us back. So setting the fear aside and being able to then have freedom to be curious, because I dealt with the fear. I put aside the what if. I put aside that quiet little voice that was like, oh no, you'll never make it. And you can kind of quiet that noise and step into freedom. I think curiosity is the natural step that follows that.
Curiosity being the natural step when we set aside fear, right? So when you say you set it aside, right? Can you kind of share what are some of the things that you did to set it aside? Because we all face fear, right? I don't think I don't personally think that you can live a fearless life, like you never face it, right? That it's gonna confront you. And that's why even for those of us who are people of faith, we rest on some of the scriptures that talk about fear, right? Fear not, keep going. There's so many stories that encourage us to walk forward, because fear is going to face us, right? So what are some of the things that you have done to set it aside, right? How did you do that?
Oh, that's such a good question. And you make a great point. We can rest, for those of us who are believers, in the foundation of scripture and replace those lies of fear with the truth of what God says. But to get super practical with you here, I will tell you, I went to Hawaii recently and I went diving with sharks, like not in a cage, like diving with real sharks. It was
like nothing around you protecting you.
Zero things protecting me, like the most fear driving experience of my life. Right. So I got into this and I was like, you know what, if I can swim with sharks, I can do anything. And I was like, this is an opportunity to change my mind. So you'll see, I'm answering your question. I promise it's in a roundabout way, but
this is a good story.
I was like, this is an opportunity to change my mind, because here I am thinking I'm getting in the water. We're 7 miles off the coast. The boat has just pulled up to this area and shark fins come to the surface. My heart is racing. I'm borderline anxiety attack. This is just, it's terrifying. But I had this moment where I was like, I get to practice changing my mind. I get to choose the thoughts on which I dwell. I get to choose my perspective. I get to choose my energy in this situation. And I did. I slowed my breath, which slowed my heart rate. I connected, I grounded down to the seat on that boat, as grounded as you can be on a boat in an ocean. And I said, I'm going to take this one moment at a time, because right now I'm safe in the boat. And then we got in the water and I was safe. And moment by moment, I just was very present. And anytime I started to get worried, I'd say, hey, you got to change your mind. We have the power to choose our thoughts, and we can either entertain that message of fear, or we can say, no, you know what? I'm safe. And this shark diving tour has a lot of good reviews on Google.
Trust in Google.
Yeah. Woo. So, but really, truly, it's the same mentality. I had to change my mind and I had to choose the thoughts on which I was dwelling. And so you hear that voice of fear, and I had to step back from that and say, is that truth? Is that productive? Is it beneficial? Is it uplifting? No, it's none of those things. So I'm going to reject that thought, and I have the power to set my mind on things that will serve me. And that's what I did.
Yeah, and that's a really great practice. And it's like almost a split second, right? Like you have to, it happens so quickly. I'm sure you didn't have hours and hours ahead of time to kind of go through that, right? The excitement of getting ready to go dive with sharks, which is, I give you credit for that, because I don't think I do that.
I don't think I'd do it again, Nicole. I wouldn't.
I'm good.
Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, I am done.
But you're really talking about kind of split second things, but we do have the second, we do have the moment to be able to pause and ask yourself those questions. I love what you said. Is it beneficial? Is this thought beneficial for me?
Is this serving me? Is it serving me?
Yeah. And it's it's a question that I've heard a lot, but it really is a powerful question to cause us to pause. It's almost like a small little shock to your system. You know, is this serving me? How do I do that? So the way that you put it on the shelf was you began to take breaths, you said, and then kind of ask yourself these questions in order to get past and really dive with sharks. And that same practice, right, just carried over to being curious and pursuing your heart's desire.
Yes.
Versus, you know, what I think I should be doing. No, this is my heart's desire. This is what I'm following at this stage of life, right?
Absolutely.
What do you, and in that, right? Because I love the shark example. What have you experienced as maybe some of the challenges to exploring curiosity in your life?
That's a great question. I think that when you step out in freedom, you put fear aside and you step out in freedom, there is that unknown. It's kind of a space. And I found that those spaces are so valuable. But in this space, some of our tendencies can come up. You know, when we're day in, day out, 9 to 5, doing our thing, but not giving ourselves the time and space to really maybe reflect, to process, to give space to all the thoughts, it really shows us some stuff within us that maybe needs to be processed, that needs to be healed, perhaps. Maybe there's an area where you need to find freedom in life. And so I would say that was a challenging time to walk through that, but it was challenging in the most fruitful way. I had a coach that walked with me in that season, and that was such a gift to be able to say, hey, where's that belief coming from? Or where is this limiting thought coming from? And I found that challenge to be very fruitful.
Yeah, I really can appreciate, you know, coaches, life coaches, people that really can walk alongside us. Cause I can remember, you know, even throughout my life, even now, right, presently, just being able to connect and work with people that can help challenge your thinking. And, you know, we spend a lot of time talking about thinking, but it really is the beginning. It's the beginning, right, of being able to explore. And I've found too, just in my work, my everyday work, being able to connect with women, empowering people, you know, really helping to encourage them to be their best self, is that we talked about fear, but there is a hesitation, like almost curiosity is for the youthful, right? Like when you're young, you can be curious, you know, it's like, and we really applaud and marvel at children or at young adults for their curiosity. But then as you progress in life, you know, in an age, it can wane, right? So, and I know you're a young woman, right? Younger, you know, you haven't hit 30 yet, right?
Not yet.
Okay, right. So what would your message be? Because I know you work with people from different age groups, right? And maybe you've seen this as well. What would your message be to someone who might see that their stage and age in life is a barrier and it's stopping them from being curious from your perspective where you are now?
I think that sounds like resistance to me. I think that we're never too old. It's never too late to start again and to step into what makes our hearts come alive. I think that so oftentimes that may be a message of fear of, it's too late for me. I get it for the kids that are curious. I get it for this, you know, kid in college that's changed their major 10 times. You know, they're exploring all the things good for them. It's an explorative time. But ultimately, I think that we were designed to be curious. Think about even in the context of relationships, We could be defensive or we could be curious. We could go, hey, what do you mean by that? Or what does this feel like to you? That spirit of curiosity gives us the opportunity to know ourselves, to know others, and to better know the world around us.
Yeah.
So my thought is at any age, stage, or place in life, there's an opportunity to maybe start by reflecting. What are the things that makes my heart come alive? What are the things that fills me with passion? What are the things that I'm naturally gifted to do? Right?
Yeah.
So like the things that I love and that I'm gifted to do. And then what small step could I take towards pursuing that? It may not mean a huge career change in your 60s, but it may be a small step towards pursuing it that ends up filling you with life, filling you with freedom, and filling you with joy because it's what you were made to do.
I love that. You hit you touched all the points. I love that. And I hope y'all heard these really practical steps because it doesn't matter what stage of life or what age you are, right? And it's the small little things. It's intuitively, we were built to be curious. And when those barriers are removed, you can discover that the curiosity in you is already there, right? Wouldn't you say that? Like it's already there.
Already there. Oh, that's so good, Nicole. I love it.
Remove the barrier. When you remove it, you're like, oh,
Yes.
this is inherently how I am. Every single
I was
person,
designed this way.
I was designed this way. I
Mm.
absolutely love that. And so in the work that you're doing now in terms of branding and marketing, right? What would you say, or how would you say curiosity plays a part in your role to help even your clients and people that come to you to be innovative and creative?
Oh, it's my favorite part about what I do. I love entrepreneurs. I love the small business. And I think that sometimes, just like people, small businesses, entrepreneurs get stuck in a rut of we're a third generation family run business and we've been doing this for so many years. And they share their message without an ounce of conviction, without a bit of passion. They're stuck in the rut. They're hard working business owners and they're in it. But to be able to sit down with that business owner and be like, yeah. It's a third generation family business. That's great. What is it that makes you excited to wake up in the morning? What is it that makes your heart come alive? Why are you in this business in the first place? What is the heart that's driving this business? Because when you get to that why, I mean, it is a superpower for marketing. You get to the why, to the heart, and you're able to then craft that into a message that reaches the heart of your potential customers in a compelling way, and magic happens. I mean, it is incredible to see these business owners come alive. When I present a branding package back to them and they go, oh my gosh, this is what I've had within me, but I just didn't have the words to say it.
Yes.
So yeah, oftentimes we kind of scrap the this is what we do and these are the services we offer and all that, and we really get to the heart. So I would say curiosity is the primary driving force there.
Yeah, for sure. And listen, let's plug this right now because I think this is a great little commercial break. Tell us the name of your business and how folks can connect with you if they're like, oh, I love what she just said.
So my business is Core Marketing and Strategies. They can connect with me on Instagram, or my email is caroline@coremarketing.co.
Okay, y'all heard that, right? So connect with Caroline because it really is, even as a small business owner myself, I realized that the process of getting to the why, and using that tool of curiosity to explore that, it can be, let's just say, y'all, I mean, this journey of curiosity, right, Caroline, would you say it's not always easy. It can be a little scary, right? Because you don't know what you're going to discover. Even though you may want it, it can be a little scary. So having someone like you walk alongside, especially when it's something that you're passionate about in terms of offering yourself to the world, right? Through the avenue of a service or product, but walking that path to be curious to explore what all of that is in you and being able to articulate that. Having someone like you is a powerful place because you understand your position to be able to help them go down that road. Does that make sense?
Yes, totally. Thank you, Nicole. Yeah, it is really my heart to see these business owners come back alive to the why. why they started in the first place, and then to get to build them like we've talked about today, in freedom, in fullness of life, to reach their customers and grow their business with the right clients. It's a blast.
Yes. And so I know that small businesses and entrepreneurs are kind of your sweet spot. And I also know that you have a passion for women, because I was able to hear you speak at a women's event, which was phenomenal. Some of the tools that you shared with us. And so let's talk about how us as women, right? Some of you that might be listening may be entrepreneurs, small business owners. You may be wanting to go in that direction, or even at home with your kids, or just at home, period.
Yes. Totally.
In a career, wherever you are right now, whatever stage of life you are right now, curiosity is a powerful tool that you can use in your life to grow. So Caroline, speak to us a little bit about how us as women, and what you've seen with the women that you've worked with, how curiosity can benefit them.
Gosh, I heard this quote the other day that was like, when we surround ourselves with people who are just like us, it becomes like a gunky, stagnant pond of goldfish. It's not healthy, it's not moving. But when we surround ourselves with a diverse group of people, of perspectives, of thought around us, it is like a vibrant, healthy, alive ocean of flowing current and flowing water. And so that is my heart for the community of women around me, that not everyone would think like me. And then I would have the curiosity to say, why do you think about it the way that you do? And I think about it the way that I do. We're so divided. It's so easy just in our humanity to get so separated and put ourselves in all these different kind of divided categories and look for areas of tension. But gosh, we have so much to learn from each other if only we had a spirit of curiosity.
Yes, we have so much to learn from each other. And that's, I think, having that attitude is so, it's freeing, right? There's freedom in having that attitude, because at the end of the day, we start with ourselves, and then relationship with other people.
Yes.
As people in general, but we're talking about us as women. We have ourselves that we need to develop. And then the next thing we have is relationship with other people.
Yes.
Right.
And show me your friends, I'll show you your future. I mean, those people matter. Yeah.
And the power, I love what you said about having a diverse group of people around you that think differently. They've had different experiences in life that can bring to your table, they serve at your table. It's almost like a potluck, right? You have a potluck at your house and you're like, bring your favorite dish.
Yes, absolutely. And we learn from each other. And to speak so plainly here, I think in freedom, we as women need to step out of the game of comparison, the game of competition, to walk in freedom in that area, to release that, to be free, to then be curious, and to link arms with the women around us, to learn from the women around us, and to love and support them in their dreams and their vision. I think there's just a beautiful opportunity for us as women in that space.
Absolutely, man. You said, and I think that's one of the barriers as well to curiosity, is comparison. Shut down curiosity. And I mean, it's almost like, I'm trying to think of sand over, over fire, or, water to a small flame. Like it destroys it, because we all are unique, and each one of us has a God-given ability and gift to be able to develop, to accept it, develop it, and share it with the world. And when we compare ourselves to other people, like I think that's my number one thing to talk about with women sometimes, is the comparison thing, because it will kill your curiosity.
Truly does. It does.
We don't want to, even though we do, right? We do compare ourselves. Let's just be real about it. We do.
100%. Yes.
We do. What we see, what we're around, I think it's an enemy to all of us. It's just something that we have to be mindful of when we are aware of it, when those thoughts are coming, those comparative thoughts are coming, that, oh my goodness, this is going to kill my curiosity.
Yes.
Just to be mindful. So
100%. Again, going back to that thought, does this thought serve me? And
right.
in reality, it does the very opposite of serving you.
Yeah.
It steals your curiosity. It steals the opportunity for connection, and it steals the opportunity for collaboration and thriving together.
Man, I'm high-fiving you over here. It's so true. And so just I'm curious about how you see, or in what way that you have seen curiosity help you be freer as a woman.
Mhm. Oh gosh, that's a great question. I think that as I've pursued that curiosity, I think that it really, for me, it's almost the order's reversed. The curiosity followed freedom. I don't know that I was able to be like, hey, I'm going to be curious before I felt free. To be
Mm,
totally honest with you, I think that freedom precedes curiosity, because when you're free, you're comfortable in your own skin, you're confident in your identity, then you're able to be curious and to say, what is my purpose and what does this relationship look like in my interaction with this community or that community? I really do believe freedom is the foundation of everything, including curiosity.
ooh, freedom. All right. So would you define it that way, or define for us what does freedom mean to you?
Mm, I think freedom is just being at peace.
Mm.
I
Say
think
more
it's
about
that.
that. What do you mean by that, Caroline?
I, I think freedom is being at peace with, if you're a person that is in the faith, maybe at peace with God. But for anyone, at peace with yourself,
Mhm.
maybe not striving, not trying, not doing anything other than just resting peacefully in who you are and the way you were created and the way you were designed. I think it's a peaceful rest with yourself. And then it's a place of peace with yourself, maybe with God, with how you connect to the community and the people around you. It's a peace with your purpose or the journey to your purpose. I
Mhm.
think freedom looks like showing up in a place of peace.
Showing up. Boom, golden nugget. Y'all heard that one, right? Freedom looks like showing up in a place of peace where you have to show up. And so when you're not free, and this may be a telltale sign, if you're
Mm,
isolating yourself, if you're not showing up,
mm,
you're always saying no to friends inviting you to places, you're always saying no to maybe that networking opportunity or to meet someone new or to do something different. If you're
mm.
always saying no, not because it's a boundary and you know it's not a good step for you, you're saying
Right.
no because you don't feel free with yourself,
Mm. So good, Nicole.
right?
It's
So
a
that
telltale sign.
that could be a telltale sign that there is an
Mm.
area and maybe in your life that there's you're stopped up. you
Yeah,
know, there's a backup somewhere.
100%. And that happens to all of us. There are
Yes.
areas in our lives where, as you said, there's a backup somewhere. We're
Yeah.
not fully alive. We were designed for fullness of life. We were designed to live in abundance. And
Yeah.
for all of us, because we're here in a fallen world, there's a place that needs healing
Yeah.
and needs freedom. But like you said, if you are isolating, it is very likely an indication that you're not free, and whatever that area looks like for you. But here's the reality: there is freedom for all of us, and there's opportunity for all of us, and freedom is the foundation for connection, for healing, for collaboration, for growth, for curiosity, for all things good.
All things good. So where can we start, Caroline? Where would you say would be maybe the first place to start to tap into that freedom and be able to explore the curiosity that is innate in all of us?
Mm, I think the first place where I started was going back to holding up the mirror and saying, do I like what I see?
Hmm.
Am I okay with what I see? How was I created and how can I embrace that? And that's hard for us sometimes as women, to hold up the mirror and to say, this is what I've done in my life, and here are my accomplishments, and here are my failures. And I still look in the mirror and I smile at what I see, and I'm proud of what I see, and I see a future for her, right?
Yes.
I think that's a really great place to start, is to get comfortable with ourselves and to do the work, to work through those blockages, like you said, to heal, to become whole, and to become free, so that then you're set up with that foundation to step into the curiosity. Because if you're dealing with a, hey, I'm not happy with myself kind of a message, you're not going to be able to be curious, to be like, what was I created and destined to do? What's my purpose here on earth? You're not free to do that. It can hold you back. But if you are able to walk in peace with yourself, then you're free to pursue whatever it is that you're called to do.
Love it. Yes, y'all heard it. That's a good place for you to start. This podcast is all about taking action, one step, one practical thing that you can apply to your life, so that you can be the best version of yourself, and then give out to others, because we need to see you. So come on and show up. So Caroline, as we close here, you're a free woman, you're living in curiosity, you're exploring things, you're walking in your purpose, everything's aligned. What does Caroline do to have fun now in this new place that you find yourself?
Oh my gosh, I have found myself, we've talked about curiosity being kind of childlike. I found myself just getting to play more, which has been so fun. I am on the side a yoga instructor, and I enjoy that a lot, but just getting to play, to move energy through the body, right? That's so healthy for us. But yeah, I have a beautiful community of people around me. And so just connecting with those women, going on a hike with my husband, traveling, yoga, just truly anything that like sparks joy. I'm just going to play with it and mess with it and enjoy it.
I love it. Thank you so much, Caroline, for sharing with us. We're talking about the power of curiosity. And I know there's something that you said, I'm not going to say if, there's something that Caroline said that really resonated with you. You want to connect with her. Maybe you are starting a business, you're a small business, and you would like to work with her. Caroline, again, how can people connect with you if they want to kind of engage in a relationship even further?
Connect with me on Instagram at Core Marketing. Core is COR, it's Latin for heart. So again, at Core Marketing on Instagram, or feel free to shoot me an email, caroline@coremarketing.co.
Thank you so much, y'all. We'll have all her information in the show notes. If you want to read up on that, connect with Caroline. Caroline, thank you so much for joining the show today. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Nicole, I could talk to you for hours. This was a blast. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, y'all. Until next time, take one step, and we'll see you another time. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to Take Action Podcast. I truly hope you were inspired to take massive action to being your best self. If this resonated with you, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a beat, and write a review so we can share this message with as many people as possible. Head over to my hub, NicoleSimmonsLeadership.com, for more powerful resources to help you release your potential. Make today count, take action.